So guys, thank you so much. And my name is Fefe and I'm here to tell you why I believe Bitcoin is the most misunderstood revolution of our time. Before I get started, I just want to say how happy I am to see so many of you coming out here, one of the first major crypto conferences in Monaco. And Monaco is the billionaire's playground. This is where old money resides. But old money doesn't like Bitcoin. This is an article on CNBC in 2017 with Larry Fink, who is the CEO of the largest asset manager in the world. And he's saying that Bitcoin is nothing else than a money laundering scheme. But I have to be fair a little bit, and I have to say that old money doesn't like Bitcoin until it understands Bitcoin. This is Larry Fink in 2024, same outlet, CNBC, saying Bitcoin is the future. In 7 years, he became a Bitcoin believer. Now, it took 7 years for Larry Fink to understand why Bitcoin is superior, but I really hope that I can be the light bulb for many of you in the next 15 minutes. So Monaco, the second smallest country on the planet, 2.1 square kilometer in territory. I didn't know that. And the first time I learned about it, the first thing, and probably many of you think about, is Bitcoin. And it's a very simple mathematical equation. 2.1 square kilometers is 2.1 million square meters. And since there is only 21 million Bitcoin ever to be created, we have 10 Bitcoin per square meter in Monaco. Now, if I look at this, I think how scarce Bitcoin is. I don't need anything else. But don't get me wrong. I understand that Monaco has the most valuable and most scarce real estate market on the planet. But I'm here to tell you that it's not even as close as valuable as the Bitcoin network. So 10 Bitcoin is about $1 million today. Woo! 1 square meter in Monaco is about $60,000, about 0.6 Bitcoin. Again, another thing, I just look at this and I go, there is a discrepancy here, but again, I have to be fair, it has not always been like this. So this is a chart I put together. This is the real estate prices per square meter in US dollar value from 2015. So you see that in 2015, you had to pay around $40,000 for 1 square meter here in Monaco. And if you look at this year, you have to pay about $60,000, give or take, for 1 square meter. It's a beautiful uptrending chart, we all agree. Now, if I take this chart and I want to understand square meter prices in Bitcoin value, we're going to get a little bit of a different chart here. You see, in 2015, you had to pay 84 Bitcoin for 1 square meter here in Monaco. 84 Bitcoin. Today, you get the same square meter for just 0.6 Bitcoin. So there is, again, a discrepancy here. While real estate prices has been going up in dollar value, up 44% the past 10 years, in Bitcoin value, Monaco real estate prices has lost 99.3% of their value the past decade. And a lot of people who are not in crypto might be thinking, why? How can this be? And so there are 7% of the population that own crypto today, and about 70% of those people don't really understand how it works, as they say, based on research. I genuinely thought I was the part of the 30%. I'm going to conferences, I'm educating people in schools, I'm talking to high net worth individuals, I have a daily live show. But it took me 8 years to realize that there is no second best. And so for those of you who don't know, there is no second best, it comes from this guy. His name is keynote, one of the most prominent Bitcoin investors and visionaries of today. And he was asked in an interview not so long ago, what is the second best cryptocurrency on the planet? And he said, there is no second best cryptocurrency on the planet. But what he really meant is that there is no second best, period. Commodities, stocks, securities, luxury, real estate, whatever you look at, there is just no second best. But again, I come back to it, which probably a lot of these believers come back to, what is the true revolution? Why there is no second best? And so I bought my first Bitcoin because it was a store of value. It was 2016. What happened in 2016? Trump's first term. And if you've been around, trust me, the world was ending. There was going to be wars, and the dollar was going to devalue, and it was going to be a whole, thing. And so I had to protect my wealth. Now I have to also add to it that this was me in 2016, complete tinfoil head, getting all my information from Facebook, and I believed all that. So I went on to and bought Bitcoin. I had to protect my wealth, which was $700 at the time. And I bought my very first Bitcoin on the day Trump got elected at $700. And so some people might be thinking, holy shit, this guy bought Bitcoin at $700, although there are much bigger OGs in this audience, but bought my first Bitcoin at $700 and it went to 110,000, holy cow, this is crazy. But what a lot of people don't realize is that by the time I bought my first Bitcoin for $700, there was already a 7-year history in Bitcoin that no one really talks about. So let me take you on a journey. 2008, Halloween night, October 31st, there is a document published on a cryptography mailing list titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, and it's signed by Satoshi Nakamoto. Now we don't know if Satoshi Nakamoto is a he, a she, a they, an it. We don't know. But what we know is Satoshi is the creator of Bitcoin, and this paper is the foundation of everything within crypto, the Bitcoin white paper. And so, why 2008? 2008 was the year of the financial crisis, when we lost faith in our governments, our central banks, and to be very fair, we lost faith in our fiat currencies, worthless papers. And so there was a need for a digital cash that didn't require the Federal Reserve, that didn't need any central banks, that didn't need any governments and any intermediaries for that matter. But there was a problem. The problem was, which I'm going to tell you later. 2009, January 3rd, the Bitcoin network launches officially. And not a lot of people know this, but on the very first block of the Bitcoin blockchain, there was an imprinted message that read, Times, 3rd of January 2009, Chancellor and second bailout for banks. And it was mocking a Times article published on the same day that was discussing the second bailout for banks after the 2008 financial crisis. Like, let's remember, it wasn't just the second, but also the third, and it was paid by the taxpayers for these private institutions. So there was obviously a need for a new and alternative monetary system, but the problem was the double spending problem. There were a lot of people that tried to do a digital cash previously. The problem is the double spending problem. The double spending problem is that digital files can be copied, altered, and therefore if you have a digital cash, that can be spent more than once. So I don't know if the cash I'm getting is a hacked version, if it's not a hacked version. So you always needed a central authority that verified these transactions and made sure this is the central bank, but we know how that went in 2008. So again, this wasn't really a problem. Now Satoshi, for the first time, solved this by creating a decentralized network. Instead of one central authority, you could trust thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of individuals, people around the globe. And so decentralization is something that's going around in crypto and everybody's saying decentralization, but I find out that truly not a lot of people understand how decentralization actually works when it comes to Bitcoin, and it's super important. So I thought in the next 1.5 minutes, I'm going to try to boil it down to you very, very simply. So imagine 5 co-workers. They're not friends, co-workers. They don't trust each other, they don't really know each other, but they end up in Monaco on a business trip, right? So one of them is going to pay for the cab, one of them is going to pay for the food, one of them is going to pay for the drinks, but they don't want to play with money all the time and just send back and forth, back and forth. So they decide that at the end of the trip, they're going to just divide the whole amount and everybody gets their fair share. Now the question is, how can they make sure that one, no one cheats? So I say I spent $500 and then I didn't. And 2, no one forgets. It can happen that I actually spent $500 but I don't remember because it was 3 a.m. Yes. You have 3 options. One is that everybody tracks their own spending. Problem is the same thing, I can forget, I can cheat, not reliable. Second is we select one person. We say that person is tracking our spending. Now that guy gets out, 2 a.m., passes out, doesn't remember, can make a mistake, can be bribed, can forget, can hit by the bus, not a solution. And the third option is, which in my opinion, the only option, is that everybody tracks everybody's expenses at the same time together. Now it sounds difficult, but imagine a simple way of doing it. You open a WhatsApp group. In the WhatsApp group, if I spend something, I send it in. If I send $100 on 5 tequila shots, I send in $100, 5 tequila shots, we see the time. Now, if everybody's drinking that tequila shot, they're going to approve the transaction. Yes, I am drinking this tequila shot. Everything is fine. But what happens if I'm laying in bed and there's a transaction coming through, 5 tequila shots for $100, but I know everybody's laying in bed. Like, this guy is trying to scam us. So we're all going to reject the transaction. You see, if the majority approves the transaction, it goes through, and then we divide it at the end. If majority doesn't agree with the transaction, it doesn't go through, and then we just don't divide it. This is exactly how the Bitcoin network works. But instead of a WhatsApp group, we have something called a distributed ledger, which is the blockchain. And instead of the 5 coworkers, we have 22,000 plus nodes running independently around the globe 24/7, verifying transactions, creating blocks. So 2009, the network launches, everybody's happy. Some people send Bitcoin to each other. This small network is going on, few computers, and they verify transactions. And they verify transactions because they can get Bitcoin in return. So as you verify transactions and you place blocks onto the blockchain, you get rewarded in Bitcoin. The problem is Bitcoin has no value at the time. 2009, 10, there's no value. There's no incentive to run the network. So the only people who are running the network are geeks. And I say this with the utmost respect and humbleness. These guys are the founding fathers of Bitcoin and crypto, for that matter. And they're running the network because they enjoy a new monetary system. They enjoy something new, and they're testing. And so until this guy comes about, 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗧, he's the guy who spent 10,000 Bitcoin on 2 pizzas, which was $41 at the time, but would be $1 billion today. And so it's a very expensive mistake, but it was a very important mistake for the sake of the industry, because this was the first real life transaction. It proved that Bitcoin can indeed be a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, which was incredible. So the next obvious step was drugs. So people realized the potential, untraceable, fast, reliable, no double spending problem, the perfect opportunity. Silk Road launches, people buy everything they want on this website, and then miracle happens. One, the usage, but most importantly, the attention causes Bitcoin to rocket from $1 to $30 in no time, in 6 months, and then back to $1 in 6 months, but rockets to $30. And this attention started to gain global attention, and people started to look at Bitcoin as a potential option. For example, in high capital control countries, you can look at Venezuela, hyperinflation. You can look at the Greek debt crisis. Perfect solution. Cross-border payments, 24 words in my head, I don't have to carry anything. There's no limit, no censorship. And so when there is high capital control or uncertainty, a store of value is always great. And Bitcoin is a store of value. And the main reason why Bitcoin is a store of value is because of something we call the halving. You remember I told you that there were Bitcoins being rewarded to the people who create blocks and verify transactions? Well, every 4 years, the reward that they get for putting a block on a blockchain gets cut in half. So 4 years from now, 3 years from now, but 4 years from now, they're gonna earn 50% less. And 4 years after that, they're gonna earn 50% less compared to that, so 25% compared to today. And that makes Bitcoin a very good store of value and a deflationary currency on the long run. And so when governments print trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, and when there's uncertainty out there, whatever that might be, Bitcoin is a perfect store of value. And so there you go. You've got peer-to-peer electronic cash system, and you've got a store of value. Everybody thinks this is the two main things, and this is what we ride on. But I argue that's not why Bitcoin is superior. Although these things are good and true, that's not why Bitcoin is superior. You see, we've got great payment solutions. Like, we can use Revolut. I can exchange money in seconds. I can send cross-border for no fees, basically. I can use all kinds of currencies, including crypto. And also, there are other store of values. We use thousands and thousands of years. Yes, it's clunky, it's heavy, it's difficult to, but we have it. So then again, why there is no second best? And there is one thing that only Bitcoin has, and that is a decentralized network, which is the largest decentralized network on the planet. You see, we think in centralized entities. We keep our cash in a bank, we pay the bank so we can keep our money there, and so they can allow us how much we can spend and use. And it's actually crazy if you think about it. Try to go to the bank tomorrow and try to withdraw $10,000 in cash and see what they say. They will say, come back in 2 days. But also, it's not only cash, it's also our data, our information, our photos, all kept on private servers. All this is censorship. And Bitcoin is the only network on the planet that cannot be censored. It's impossible. There is no limits, there is no censorships, but there is unlimited potential. For example, our friend sitting here at the front, Julian Assange, if you have not heard of him, look him up. He was a whistleblower. He was basically disclosing all the war crimes the US did. And the files he published were all classified, and because it was kept on private servers, they could remove it at any time. It was not possible to spread the information. Now our friends put it on the Bitcoin blockchain. It's available for anyone to see forever and beyond. There is no way of removing it. Or you can think of much simpler things. For example, a will. You don't have to go to a lawyer anymore. You can just put your own will onto the Bitcoin blockchain today. Just have the public address, give it to your family, and it stays there forever. No matter if Amazon goes under, Google goes under, it stays there forever. And the best part is that technology allows for anyone to do this today with ease. So I argue that the true revolution is not Bitcoin as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It's not that it's a great store of value, which both of it is. I argue that Bitcoin is a network that started off with a few geeks and without any central entity, any coordinated marketing efforts. It became the most powerful decentralized network on the planet. So anytime you buy a new car, or anytime you buy a new real estate, I want you to always remember that there is no second best. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, it's great.